I like dressing seasonally, especially during autumn and winter, but I've got some limitations: limited time, money, and space. I don't want to clutter up my wardrobe with items I can only wear for a few months. My solution? Take a single sweater and make it work all year round. This particular sweater I'm talking about is actually one of the first ones I ever made. It's not perfect. I ran out of yarn, the sleeves have a strange colour change, and back then I didn't know about dye lots, so plus it grew quite a bit when I blocked it. But you know what? It's still one of my most worn items and I absolutely love it. Since it's just plain stocking stitch, it's perfect for what I have in mind. So here's how I got started on this project. I began by counting the stitches on the front of the sweater to figure out how big of a design I could add. Then I turned to Pinterest to look for cross stitch or gridded patterns. I found a lovely snowflake pattern, I'll save that for later. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a pumpkin grid pattern that I liked, but I did find a scary pumpkin image on Google that I thought was just perfect. I created my own grid using the reference image. There are some online tools that will do it for you, which I'll link in the description. So now it's time to raid my stash for some yarn. I knew this sweater was in iron weight, so that's what I was looking for. And I really wanted the design to scream autumn, so I was hoping for an orange yarn. But all I had on hand was this cotton yarn and some DK yarn. I decided to give the DK yarn a try and see how it looked. I could always double it up if need be. There are lots of great videos on doing duplicate stitch, and I will list the ones I watched in the description, but I will share some things that I learned. I found it best to start at the bottom and go side to side. For my first attempt I did it column by column, only going upwards, but it took forever and my stitches were really uneven and it was actually quite hard to unpick it as well. When it comes to going side to side, I found stitching in the opposite direction to the one I was travelling worked best. Let me explain. So if I do this stitch going to the left, then move to the stitch on the right, even pulling on the leg, the stitch looks okay. However, if I work this stitch in my direction of travel, to the right, then moved right, you can see when I pull, the legs of the V separate and it doesn't look as good. Going up is easy, you just follow the path of the yarn. I tried not to go down, but if you do, I only went through the duplicate stitch as I thought going through both legs didn't look as great. But it depends on the weight of your yarn, so maybe try both. When it comes to securing the ends, you don't want to be too thorough, otherwise removing the design will be a nightmare. I just tied my ends together in triple knots to the nearest one and cut anything that was too long. It seemed to wash just fine, and this made taking it out much easier. This project is fantastic if you've been procrastinating on making that adorable pumpkin sweater. This only took me one evening to complete, and I also got to use up some leftover yarn. So if you have a lot of scraps that you want to find a use for, this is perfect. And then when autumn is over, I can easily remove the stitches and add a different design for winter. I can even keep the leftover yarn and the gridded pattern to use the same design every year, or I can switch it up for something new. I hope you give this a go. Let me know in the comments what designs you want to try out, and I'll see you in the next one.